Shalom YouTube. Hey guys, it's Fletch. Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about concealed carry outside the waistband, or OWB, which is an acronym that stands for outside the waistband. And it's very, shall we say, in vogue right now to carry inside the waistband. But for those of you that are out there that maybe perhaps like myself, you've had several back surgeries and having a lot around your waist and things that, change how your pants fit on you and things like that can be painful and undesirable. And so that's the purpose of this video today. So I'm going to share with you my experiences, and they're just that. They're my experiences, but having concealed carry for many years and outside the waistband, and some considerations that you may choose to look into for yourself. The first thing is, if you're going to carry outside the waistband, I would highly suggest that you get a very good belt. This particular belt is an Aker belt, A-K-E-R, Aker, and it is a very stiff belt. Has a polycarbonate lining on it, and there is a good reason for that we'll cover a little bit later. But so the first thing that you're going to want is you're going to want a reinforced gun belt, or a CCW belt. CCW is a concealed carry weapon for those of you that may be new. So there you go. Next is you're going to need to pick a holster that works for you. There are many good options that are out there. And so I'm just going to show you some of the things that I've explored myself. Now, one of the very first things that we can look at is just the Phobos. This fits a Glock 19, and it's a simple compression fit like you have on many of these style holsters. These are very inexpensive. It's a paddle style holster. This paddle goes inside, in between your pants, and your belt rides right in there. And there you are, Phobos, F-O-B-U-S. So there's your Phobos holster. Next is a little bit more expensive option. This is a Safariland 6378, and this is also a very good holster. Depending on the classes that you might be going to at some point, you may have to have a positive retention device holster, which means that you have to hit the release right there to get it to release. But this is also a very good option. This is also a paddle style holster, as you can see right here. Again, that's a Safariland 6378. It's a holster that I've used quite a bit as well. Next, let's talk about Alien Gear. Alien Gear is a newer but good holster manufacturer. They make value priced products with good quality, and this particular holster here is what they call their Cloak slide, which just slides on over your belt through these loops, and then your weapon just slides in there as such, and it does provide a pretty decent level of concealability. I've also used this quite a bit. As you can tell, it's pretty worn and beat up as well. Next, one that I never really have liked or really got into is this is a Blackhawk. This is just their basic quote-unquote concealed carry outside the waistband holster, and these actually fit all the way up to a 17. Just your barrel sticks out a little bit on these. I think this one is specifically rated for like a 26. And then if it's a 19, it's a little bit longer, and if it's sort of 17, it's a little bit longer. But the nice thing about it, if you buy a 26 like this, you can put both a 19 and a 17 in there. For me personally, I just never have really cared for Blackhawk, their stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, they make decent stuff. It's just not as much to my liking. One nice thing about this Blackhawk holster is you can get a paddle holster, or a paddle fitment piece like this, and you take off the belt loop and you put the paddle fitment on there, and so you can have it either way. Plus, if you had a drop leg type thing, a lot of these you can just take the screws out and mount it up in that configuration as well. One nice thing I will say about the Blackhawks is that you can change the angle and the cant of this in comparison to others that you can't. So that is one nice thing about Blackhawk holsters. And this is not the you know, the Serpa, you know, the one that you got to press your finger there to disengage it and end up shooting yourself on the leg. So all right, so next, or last but not least, is my favorite that I've been using for a couple of years now, and I'm going to do a review of this separately. So depending on when you're watching this, there will be a review separately for this holster at a later time if it's not already available on my channel. But this is the Blade Tech Eclipse, and this is by far my favorite holster that I've been using. It's lightweight, very strong, it's rugged, and it conceals the weapon very well. And I'll give you an idea of what that looks like here in a minute. But again, the basic compression fit, it slides in there. Your trigger guard is fully covered. It also has, the piece that runs up as a sweat break between you and your body, and it goes to an 1.5 inch belt. And they also have now some different loops that you can get on here, as well as being able to convert this to an inside the waistband holster as well. As I started out by saying, I don't carry inside the waistband, so for me that's not a value. But if it is to you, that might be something you want to check into. But again, this is a very, very good lightweight outside the waistband holster. Some other options that you may want to look for is, here is the Blade Tech as well. This one is the Eclipse, but it's designed for the TLR1, which is the tactical light, which I do not have mounted to my Glock 19 right now. But as you can see, if I had it on there, it would stop at about the right spot. And personally, I don't like carrying this. I save it because it's a good quality holster, and if things ever go from being good to not so good, if you know what I'm saying, this would be a very good option to have as well. But again, they do also make this Eclipse for tactical lights as well. So there's that. Like I was talking about before, some other things to be aware of is like the alien gear, the cloak slide. This shell on here, just this plastic part, not the leather piece here, but this Kydex or plastic shell can come off, take off these 4 screws, and then it can be mounted onto an inside the waistband backing like this. This is their upgraded one. It's like neoprene on the back, and I haven't used that one as much. For me, it was like way too hot, and I didn't really notice enough difference in comfort for that one. Here is the basic one, which is just leather with a black finish, and as you can see, you can well see the outline of my Glock 19 on that one. I definitely wore it for quite a while, trying it out, making sure and testing it, but ultimately, I just, like I said, I just personally, I really don't care for inside the waistband. But for those of you that do, this is a good option if you like Alien Gear stuff, because you can have both. Once you have this shell, you can change it to the other configuration depending on how you might want to wear it, as well as we were talking about before with the Eclipse. Now they have different belt loops that you can put on there so that it will also fit inside the waistband should you ever or want to ever change the configuration for it. Alright YouTube, so let's talk about belts. We started out by showing you a good quality concealed carry belt. There's a lot of gun snobs that are out there, guys. I'll just tell you that right off the bat. Secondly, you know, these types of people tend to be, well, if you don't carry the kind of weapon that I do, well, you obviously don't know what you're doing. If you know, you're not carrying the right round, yada yada yada. So hopefully it's not my intention to come across this way, because definitely you know, this video is more intended for those of you that are out there that are new, and so you're coming on YouTube to find information. So I'm trying to cater this video to you. So when you're watching the different videos that are out there, be aware of that, that there are people out there that are like that. And, you know, just basically, well, you know, their attitude is, well, you're stupid if you don't do it the way that I do it. And so, having said that, again, here is the concealed carry belt that I use. It's an Aker, which is A-K-E-R. I will be doing a review of this belt all by itself as well later. So if you're watching this video for, you know, the introduction to outside the waistband carry, you'll be able to find a video specifically about this belt as well at a later time if it's not already up. But again, this is a very good belt. It's made by Aker, A-K-E-R. Aker has been in making gun belts since the early 80s. They definitely know what they're doing, and they make quality products. This belt can be had for $50 or less. The reason why you want something like this is so that when you have your weapon on, so I'll just run it through there so you can see. When you have your weapon on, it holds up the weapon. So there it is. It's mounted in there, right? It doesn't come out, and it holds the weapon just fine, right? Not a problem. Yeah. So that's the purpose of having a good quality gun belt. Now, the other important part about that is it holds the weapon at the right cant, because otherwise the belt is going to roll out, and so the heel and the butt of your weapon is going to be sticking outside of your waistband, which is going to profile your weapon or print from the outside. And for those of you that are really worried about that, you know, it's definitely something to consider. So let's take a look at the difference between, you know, a good to decent quality concealed carry belt, and this is very much so a quote-unquote Walmart belt. It's a Dickies brand, and I bought it at Walmart. You know, for holding up my pants, it's awesome. It does a good job. But let's see what we got. Well, yeah, well, no. So obviously you can see that with a belt like this, that you're going to have this belt cinched very, very tightly to your waist to keep this belt from rolling out away from your body and holding up tight to your body. The closer the weapon is to your body, but still allowing an easy draw, is what you're looking for in a concealed carry holster and belt. So here in a minute, I'll show you the difference when I have these belts actually on me, and we'll go from there. This is the Eclipse holster, and I've just got the Walmart belt on it, and you can see that even right here how the belt is starting to roll down and pucker. And this is what I'm talking about, is the belt doesn't have enough rigidity to it that it's going to stick out. Even though the design of this holster is meant to hold the weapon right up next to you and up off of your waistline, when you have an inexpensive thin belt like this, what happens, especially over time, is it will tend to roll out and it will fall down, and it won't stay up at your natural waistline. If it doesn't stay up at your natural waistline, again, it'll start to roll out, to cant out like this, and it's going to show more than what it would otherwise. Alright YouTube, so here is the holster mounted on a good gun belt, and you can see that there really isn't any wobble or play in this. There is no cant to it like there is with the cheap inexpensive belts. You know, they're just not meant, you know, to provide a function like a reinforced belt like this Acre, or, you know, your favorite brand, insert brand name there. But and as you can see, you know, it does a good job of holding the weapon right up against my body so that it keeps it from being profiled from the outside or printed, and there's no roll to it either way, and it holds it very naturally at my natural waistband, so it's not sagging down and canting out like we talked about before with just, you know, a Walmart belt that's meant to hold up your pants, but not you know, several pound weapon like we have here with the Glock 19. So there we are. So for some of you, you may be like, duh, but I assure you there's someone out there that's going to learn something from this, because I've talked to people about this that weren't used to carrying, and since this video is for new people, there you go. Alright, so you'll notice I've gone, you know, through the back loop here, and I haven't gone through this one on the side yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through the first loop on my holster, and then I'm going to slide it back. Then I'm going to run it through that loop. Then I'm going to reach back here. I'm going to pull the belt back through, pulling out the extra here. Then I'm going to run it back through, and then slide it back so that this loop on my holster runs right up against my pant loop. And there we have it. Okay, YouTube, so here I am with the weapon on. See, on both sides of my waist, and this is a lot of times the way that I wear. And, you know, typically I tend to wear, you know, a white t-shirt first, and then I wear another t-shirt over the top, and it's a good way to concealed carry. If you wanted to, you could also carry a knife if it's allowed, you know, in whatever jurisdiction that you live in. Where we live, it is, you know, so is open carry of a weapon. So you know, yes, there's tactical advantages and disadvantages for open carry or concealed carry. Personally, I prefer concealed carry, but I also don't get all clinched up should I happen to print a little bit, because it's not frowned upon in the area that I live in. So, but again, you know, you can see that, you know, it covers fairly well, you know, no sign that I'm even carrying. If you look at it from the back too. So it does do a good job of concealment, but yet it's there when we need it to be there. Just another quick tip, YouTube, as far as weapon retention goes. That is one of the tactical advantages to carrying concealed, is that it makes it harder, even if someone might happen to know you have a weapon, because first, you know, they technically, you know, yes, there's exceptions to every rule, but more or less they have to lift your shirt first before they can get access to your weapon, right? And one of the reasons why I prefer outside the waistband holsters is because they typically are what's called a high-rise holster, which means that the butt and the heel of your holster sits up off of your waist. And the reason for that is this: when someone goes, if they come up from behind me and they know I'm carrying and they try to get access to my weapon, I immediately can drop down like this, and using my elbow, and I'm blocking access to my weapon. And it's natural drop. It's not exaggerated all the way down like this, trying to, you know, because my waistband is way down here. The butt of my weapon is way up here. It's right there. I can block access to my weapon. And this is one of the tactical advantages to carrying a high-rise holster. Okay guys, so Something else to keep in mind here and to kind of show you what I'm talking about with having a high-rise holster and the value of it is I've been through 2 different police academies, and during those classes the instructors would regularly walk around whenever we had our weapons on us and we were in training mode, and they would try to steal your weapon from you to get you in the right mental mindset that you need to be aware of who's standing around you, number one, and number two, when contact is made with your weapon for any reason, whether you're bumping into someone or they're bumping into you, you need to be paying attention to it. And I was one of the only people in both classes that never ever had their weapon stolen, because that is natural. That's quick, it's powerful, it's the weight of your shoulder coming down and your elbow driving in right here onto someone's wrist as they're trying to get your weapon or the back of their hand, and it's very painful. And people learn that quickly when the instructions on it quickly, they would try to steal my weapon because it's right there, and it's a natural block that you're able to do to defeat someone from trying to grab your weapon either from the side or the front, right? And so this is what it looks like, right? It's right there. I'm able to block it, I'm able to hit it, rather than being in a hand fight with someone, down here at my waistline, trying to, get their hand off of my weapon that's down here at my waistline. It's my elbow coming down right there. Hey YouTube, thanks for joining me today, and just a couple of things real quick. Remember, this video was intended for those new to probably 1, carrying a firearm altogether, and 2, outside the waistband. So please remember that, and be generous and kind to the comment section and for those who might be asking questions. Thank you very much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're having a blessed day. Shalom.